about home. They're married to real estate.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast for people who love real estate and want to become inspired and informed. Whether you are a newbie real estate agent looking to get tips, learn a thing or two, or maybe you're a savvy property owner who wants to get a jump on the market, this is the place for you. We discuss our passion for real estate and people, and we bring together our personal experiences as well as our guests to learn from each other. You'll hear from experts in sales coaching, real estate law, mortgage lending, investing, and many local business owners on how to grow your business or your investment in real estate. I'm Mary McCauley.
I'm Mary Forster.
And we are
Married to Real Estate.
All right, well, welcome back, everyone. Here we are, Married to Real Estate. Mary, what's been going on lately?
Oh, life has been so busy. It's just hard to... What is this retirement stuff, you know?
Busier now than ever.
At AARP, people would say, the employees, I was an employee there for 24 years, you know, people would say, hey, when did I have time to do this stuff? You know,
Right.
It went to work.
I know.
And so it's fun. Life is very full of Rotary.
Yeah.
Doing all kinds of personal growth stuff, all kinds of, you know, amazing life today.
That's great.
And I'm so excited about our guest today.
I know. And we'll get to our guest in a moment. So things with me have been good. My kids are settled. You know, my son's at law school, first year, loving it so far. And my daughter's back at Purdue, so, you know, in her junior year and really crushing it. And my son Tommy is looking for a job. So if anyone out there, new graduate from UNH, the College of Business, he doesn't really know what he wants to do. So, you know, he's a little not focused, unfocused. But he'll get there. You know, I think he had a little burnout, and then he was just going to regroup. So we're in the regroup. You know, let's go. Mama going, let's go stage. And real estate's been great. I had 2 closings last week.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's been good.
Good.
Yeah.
We don't want to hear any of these kind of, oh, the market is terrible. Oh,
It's
the mortgage
not.
rates are,
Right. No,
Yes.
forget the rates. Forget
Yes.
all of that bad news. It's all good news.
always.
Which brings us to our guest. So welcome back, Rhee, our first repeat guest. You were here way at the beginning. What did we decide? I mean, we've been doing this. We decided...
January 22 is when Yun was our first interview.
Wow.
Guest.
Yeah.
Yes.
So welcome back.
Wow.
Yeah. So tell us say hello, introduce yourself, and tell us what is going on in your life.
So I just want to thank you guys. I'm so grateful and honored to be back here with you guys. Mary sent me actually the recording from earlier, and I was listening to it, and I can't believe that it's been almost 2 years. It feels like yesterday, and it also feels like 15 years ago, right? With so many things that have been happening. So again, I'm just honored to be back here with you ladies.
Awesome. I listened to it too, and it could be today, Yun. I joined in a group in the morning with Yun. You remember her old Power Up?
I know. I love that Power Up. That saved a lot of souls during the pandemic with that.
Yes. And so for the audience, Yun was our team lead at the Keller Williams office in Westford, Mass., the Merrimack Valley River. Whatever it is. We are Merrimack Valley.
Keller Williams Realty, Merrimack Valley.
Thank you so much,
The
Mary.
official
Save
trademark
the
name.
day. Save the day. And so, and during COVID, Yun held a morning session to help everybody kind of keep it together. How can we serve our clients? How can we serve each other? And that Mary Elliott decided, I'm going to do a podcast and during that time as well, based on your Power Up in the morning. Yeah. So it was really special. And then when Mary Elliott's vision was actually actuated, Mary, who should be our first guest?
Right.
But you, darling.
Yeah.
It's such an honor. It seems like such a long time ago. There's so many things that have happened since then. And even though I was listening to it, there's so many of the same basic principles that I follow and I live by. And I can't express this enough. Like, it's the simple concepts. Our brain wants to complicate so many things, but the simplicity of it is exactly that, giving yourself permission to do the things that it is that you want to do, surrounding yourself with the people that believe in you. You know, the morning power up, shall we call it. It's so funny. I don't know if you guys know this, but it came about we actually did a stand-up in the office.
I remember that.
Do you remember that? And it wasn't virtual. It was just with the
It
staff
was
team.
leadership. Yep.
Yep. And it started from there because I wanted to really empower leaders. I didn't want to manage people. I wanted people to develop leadership so that they could lead themselves, and then that would allow them to lead others. And then that turned into the Power Up because we couldn't be together. And then it opened up to the office. And then, as people are probably aware, I ended up leaving the office. And then people were actually asking for it. And that's how Daily Inspirations came about. And then, I don't know if you know this too, Mary, but Elevated Human Experience got launched at the end of 2022.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
It's so wild just to think back. And I mean, it's a baby and yet so powerful and foundation to where we're headed and what we're looking to accomplish.
So tell me more about that.
Tell her what EHE is.
So it's so wild. For those that may know me, a lot of times I make decisions and I take action thinking it's one thing. And with that said, I look back and I realize it has so much more meaning, and the ideas just keep growing, if you will. It grows, with the right love, with the right energy. So Matt and I, our lives got really transformed taking a course called Thinking into Results. It's actually a course from Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher through Proctor Gallagher Institute. And with that said, it's a 6-month course, and that transformed our lives. So we felt the need to go get certified. We ended up getting certified and then started teaching it. Well, it's a 6-month course, and we said, okay, we need to create something for people that's going to take something after it. And it's so wild. It was going to be called Inner Circle. It was going to be called Inner Circle with Yen and Matt. And every time I went to go put energy to it, I felt resistance. So I would just shelf it. And one day I received a call from someone that I really admire. And she said to me, she goes, hey, about this mastermind thing, like, what are you thinking? So I just tell her, I said, I just see a group of, servant leaders, amazing humans that are going to collaborate together and create massive overflow, just co-creation and abundance and so many different things. And after the conversation, she says to me, she goes, Yan, I don't know if you recognize, but you said overflow like 40 times in this conversation. So immediately I look up the definition of overflow. And the definition says, spiritual definition, overflow is God's desire for us. And when living in overflow, there is so much abundance and so much love that there's no room for fears, worries, and doubts. And I said, oh my gosh, it has to be overflow. And then I said, oh my goodness, it's Overflow Mastermind Group, OMG.
Love it.
And so that got birthed. Now, this is the funniest part. As it's getting birthed, and my sister-in-law and I were working on the description of Overflow Mastermind Group to describe it. And so one of the taglines that came out of it was to experience the elevated human experience. And then that is exactly how Elevated Human Experience got birthed. I said, oh my gosh, it's going to be a community that attracts so many different leaders, so many different coaches, so many different business owners that can come together to co-collaborate really on the same principles. And the principles are integrity, honesty, spirituality, positive mental attitude, and infinite expansion. Those are our 5 core values for the company. And with that said, we are looking to attract more and more people that are servant leaders that really want to create a win-win-win scenario for themselves, whoever they're working with, and along with humanity. And so it just continues to get evolved, and we're attracting the most amazing people. And our team is, I have so much gratitude for our team because, again, they're the ones that are really, really working so hard to bring the vision into life, right? Vision into life, because I'm a huge believer that when we start giving ourselves permission to tap into our infinite genius and allow ourselves to express that and live our greatest life ever, it creates the ripple effect of everyone around us, our families, our children, our colleagues. And Mary will know, sometimes it's not the easiest ride, right? And yet, the easier part is when we accept that responsibility and we take full control, how powerful it does become. It becomes the most powerful thing that you can do for yourself, because you really do feel like now you actually have control over your life and you're not getting pushed around by the outside world. And in fact, you're doing what you're meant to do, which is creating. We're all born as creators. So giving us the power to really create the life that we truly desire.
I have to tell you, I feel mesmerized. Just
Did you blink out there for a moment?
No. Yeah, we were discussing a cult the other day. Cult. What is a cult, right?
Right.
And I'm listening to you, and I am so impressed, inspired, and the concepts run together so logically, coupled by my own personal experience, right?
But I love that it wasn't a straight line, right? And that you're open to that. And I think a lot of people think it needs to be a straight line. You need to, like my son looking for a job out of college, thinks it has to be this one path and he has to decide the rest of his life, with this first job. And he doesn't have the mindset or experience, to see that it's not ever a straight path. And if you're open to it leading you, guiding you to where, it goes, then you're going to find what it is that you're meant to do, I think.
So, Mary, episode number 4, Rhee,
Yes.
is really something that your son could listen to, because her path it began when there was no job in 2002 when she graduated from Northeastern.
Right.
So the path, and that is the path. And the beauty is the path is so varied and rich, and it was not a straight line.
Nope. No, you got to remember that. I think that don't expect it to be a straight line.
I love it, Mary. I love it.
Well, there's a quote that I really love that I want the listeners to really understand and embody it. You can never get it wrong because you can never get it done. Mm-hmm. When people truly understand and accept the fact that we're here on this planet Earth as a journey, as a complete journey to discover more of who we are and what we are born with so many gifts inside of us that even if we committed our entire lifetime to discover those gifts, we won't even be able to tap into a small percentage of it. That's how gifted each individual human are. Like, that's how gifted. And if we can understand you can never get it wrong because you can never get it done, it will empower people to make decisions. And the thing that I'm preaching now is just 3 things. The way that we create our future and the way that we allow ourselves to live our best lives is just 3 simple concepts. Number 1, give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to do the things that you want to do. Give yourself permission to unlock your imagination and ask yourself, what is the best world that I want to live? Right? What are the experiences that I want to have? Who do I want to connect with? What do I want to try? What really matters to me? So give yourself permission. Because for so long, I did not realize I didn't give myself permission. Mm-hmm. For so long, I was showing up for what I thought my parents wanted, what I thought my husband wanted, what I thought my kids wanted, what I thought my peers wanted. And I got lost along the way. And again, when we get lost along the way and we show up for everyone else, we never fully understand who we are and what we are. So permission is so, so important. Second, decisions. Decisions. No matter how small, no matter how big we may think it is, decisions create our future. Decisions create our future. And habits. Habits, habits, habits. I really love the idea of habits. Habits is God's way of creating everything great in our life if we so choose to believe it. It really is. Because we can either have great habits or habits that don't serve us. And when we can be aware of the habits that don't serve us, all we have to do is make a decision. Say, okay, that habit no longer serves me. It served me for whatever the time that it may have, but it no longer serves me. Where I'm headed, it no longer needs it. So what kind of habits, which is systems, can I create into my life that's going to empower me and get me to where I want to go? So if we just acknowledge permission, decision, and habits, because truly, let's be honest, right? Everything that exists in our world today, in our current reality, is because of our decisions and habits from the past.
Permission. When I re-listened to the podcast this morning, that's one of the words that really stuck out. And 20 months ago, it was a new concept to me. Permission. Give myself permission.
Well, but I struggle maybe with how do you be honest with yourself, right? I feel like that's wrapped up in permission, right? Because you have to give yourself then permission to be honest about what you really want, not what your mother wants for you or your parents or your spouse or all of that. So how do you get over the hump of, like having that sort of heart to heart with yourself, like, hey, snap out of it, be honest with yourself. What is it that you really want?
So I love that question. I love that question. So in order for us to really acknowledge and embrace the human experience is to appreciate and love on the feelings that we have. The feelings. Our feelings are indicators of our vibrational state. Our feelings are indicators of our vibrational state. And everything on this entire planet is energy, which is vibration and frequency. And the reason why I start there answering your question is because, just keep this in mind, when we start feeling lower vibration feelings, such as anger, frustration, loneliness, that feeling that just kind of spikes us, it doesn't feel good, those feelings are not a bad thing. It's nothing is good or bad until we decide to label it. Mm-hmm. Those feelings, we should embrace that, because all feelings are saying, it's indicating to us to teach us more of who we are and what we are. So when we get a low vibration feeling, a feeling that doesn't serve us, pause for a second, because what it's telling you is that what you're thinking and what you're feeling is actually not in alignment with who you are and what you are. Mm. Now, that's exactly how you start learning about yourself and start learning how to be honest with yourself. And when you start feeling good, you're feeling happiness, you're feeling love, you're feeling enlightenment, you're feeling joy and blissful, that is also stating to you that your thoughts and your feelings and your actions are in alignment with your truth and who you are.
And
right?
That feels good.
Doesn't it?
It really does.
And that's exactly what we're supposed to enjoy and experience. And that's exactly why don't judge on ourselves. Don't judge on ourselves when we start to feel negative emotions. Don't judge on ourselves from anything that happened in the past. Just really love and embrace yourself, because, man, oh man, I didn't realize for so long that I did not know what unconditional love felt like. Mm. And I think and I believe that so many humans do not know what unconditional love feels like. And the true meaning of unconditional love is loving on yourself, no matter how you showed up, no matter how you're feeling, no matter how you showed up in any other experiences, nothing at all, but loving on every portion of who you are and every aspect of it. It really is. And you know how we talk about the teacher comes when the student is ready? I got a dog.
I saw on Facebook.
Yes.
I follow you on Facebook, so I feel like I know your life. Yes, I remember you got a dog.
Wow.
Cutest dog.
Shout out to my Cammy.
Wiggles. It doesn't have wiggling.
Right? Shout out to my dog Cammy. You can't make this up. All of this literally goes by the universal laws. Our oldest daughter wanted a dog for like 6+ years. And I was a no. And those paradigms, those belief systems came from my mom. She was the third daughter out of 6 kids, and they grew up on a farm, and she had to clean up the poop, right? So she was like, we're never, ever getting animals. And that programming and paradigm continued through me. And I said, no. And then finally, one day, she decides to create a vision board. She creates a vision board of everything that she desires, including dogs, and she takes a picture of it, puts it on her iPad. She's completely like in love with the idea of what's happening. My oldest daughter is so powerful when it comes to this. 2 months later, the same dog that was on her vision board and her iPad comes into our world.
Wow.
The same exact dog. Now, what's funny is that dog did come to her, but it really came for me. Mm-hmm. It became one of my greatest teachers. It really did, because I didn't understand fully unconditional love. And I'm still on the journey of it, by the way, right? We never fully understand. It's just a journey of experiences. But boy, oh boy, my Cammy, she teaches me unconditional love all the time. Mm-hmm. Gives so much and expects so little.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right?
Yeah, we're all dog owners here.
Mm-hmm.
It's so incredible. Can you imagine? If we could show up for ourselves the way that animals show up for us, if we could show up for ourselves the way we show up for our children, if we could show up for ourselves the way that we do for our clients or anyone, right? Can you imagine how much your cup will be overflowing with so much love that it becomes easier and easier and easier to love on others and love on life?
Wow, that really runs afoul our face with the paradigms, the paradigms that we're taught as women, of course, and as parents, as, being good girls and good daughters and
right. Sugar and spice.
And sons too. It's not just located for women as well, but it just runs counter. Have you ever kind of come across a culture where that was just the norm? The norm of putting into ourselves with that.
I have not fully experienced anything like that, which is exactly my desire to create a space for it. That's exactly where I elevate a human experience, because I'm a huge believer. I'm a huge believer that when we attract humans that think alike, that believe in the same thing, that want a greater good, the power and the co-creation that we can have together is beyond our imagination. So I tell people all the time, I do see butterflies, rainbows, and unicorns in the future, and I see it now. Can you imagine when we have communities of all different sorts that allows people to fully embrace and express themselves and to really find joy? And those communities are also connected through unconditional love and no judgment. What that would do for ourselves in this generation, and most importantly, what it could do for our future generational kids. When they realize that planet Earth is just a playground, it's literally a playground for them to self-discover who they are and what they are. Can you imagine the amazing co-creation that we have? And think about this. Technology is here now. With so much advancement in AI and all the technology, it's taking over all the minimal, menial tasks. And as it takes over those tasks, some people might be in fear. But whoever might be listening to this, please fear not. Anything that we feel we're going to attract. So if we're living in fear, we're going to attract more things to be fearful of. But lean towards faith. Because fear and faith are both emotions caused by the unknown. And yet, when we can lean in faith, that our purpose here is to really discover who we are and what we are, and that those menial tasks mean nothing, but what matters the most is who we are as a character, what we believe in, what we love to do, and how we can co-create a world together.
Yeah, and talk about your daughters from the perspective of 20 months ago. Even 20 months ago, I sense there's a major difference in your daughters in your world and you in theirs.
The reason why they call it a human experience is there are ups and downs all over the place, right? With all the emotions. And I say that our daughters are my greatest teachers. Are my greatest teachers. They help expand me. They help me see my strengths and my weaknesses. They help me acknowledge what needs to be done, what habits I should be creating, But the expansion that they have, like our oldest one, she's an unconscious competent. She has the ability to set a focus on something and really bring it into existence like no other. I mean, I was resisting getting her a cell phone. She really wanted a cell phone for her 13th birthday. And I was like, she doesn't need it. I'll give it to her in high school. And I resisted it. Well, guess what? 2 days before her birthday, I'm like, man, we have nothing for her birthday. Like, what should we do? I'm like, do you think it would mean much to her to get a cell phone on her 13th birthday or entering high school? He's like, I think it's more impactful for her 13th birthday. I end up going to Verizon. My body takes me into Verizon store, and I end up getting a iPhone 13 for like free. Okay, on her 13th birthday, it's free. And all I have to do is pay like $20 extra a month. And I'm like, wow, this is kind of funny. So I end up getting it, put it in a box, and I covered it into a bigger box. Well, the day her birthday arrives, I look on my cell phone. Okay? I look on my cell phone, my calendar. It says Yudi's birthday because I've always put it there. But underneath Yudi's birthday, she put Yudi's new phone day. She expected it. She knew it. She created it. And I looked at it and I go, oh my goodness.
She put it on your phone.
She put
like
it
a
on
family
my
calendar.
She put it on my phone. But this is the thing. When we say no to her, she doesn't flip out. She doesn't get mad. She goes, okay. She almost disregards. Remember we used that thing about, that's interesting, like let it go? She goes, okay. And then she goes back to focusing on what it is that she does want and expects it. Just like she did with the dog, just like she did with the iPhone. And I say that to her all the time. I'm like, honey, you have like magical powers. Like it is absolutely unreal. Our little one is very creative. She's actually starting her 4th school in her 5th grade.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so talk about adapt and overcome.
Right.
So she's in this new school, and she's absolutely in love. she is flourishing like a flower, because what I've realized is she's so creative. Our oldest one is very analytical and she's very athletic. So she likes the public school. She loves her friends. She loves her sports. And for the little one, she wanted to be more creative. She was getting lost in the numbers. And I said, okay, I want to create an environment for her that she can become more creative. So we put her into a smaller private school. And it's been less than 3 weeks. She's a whole new girl.
Lovely.
Whole new girl.
Love to see
She's
that.
singing. She's dancing. She's going hiking today. Like, right? Because we gave ourselves permission and made some decisions and created some habits.
Yes.
So, Jan, you always have struck me as like an energizer bunny, right? Infinite energy and just go, go, go and positive. And so describe a day in the life of Rhee.
So I really want to hit this home, because this is I truly believe this is so, so important. We live in a day of information overload. And a lot of people don't even realize that they're becoming a servant of their mind. The amount of information, the way that our brain goes, we're becoming servants of it. So the number one thing that we really need to pay attention to and incorporate as far as habits are concerned is learning how to control our mind. If we can learn how to master our mind versus be a servant of our mind, then we really have the keys to the kingdom. And so one of the things that I really preach is, Mary, can you imagine if I asked you to not brush your teeth for 30 days? How would that make you feel?
Yuck. Horrible.
It would be so gross.
Lonely.
Yeah, exactly. Isolating.
Yes. And if you think about it, caveman days, they didn't brush their teeth.
Yeah.
And they just went on. And yet we've become a habit of brushing our teeth so much that if we told anyone to not brush their teeth, it would feel gross. Well, we really need to preach meditation. Really and truly. And I don't care if it starts with 3 minutes a day, but it needs to be part of the routine, because we need to know how to have calmness of our mind to really take full control of our lives. So one of the first things, and I just want to say this before I go on, it's more important to even do 3 to 5 minutes a day for minimum of 6 days a week versus doing 3 hours in one day and not do it again for another week. Can you imagine if you brushed your teeth for an hour in one day and didn't brush your teeth for another 2 weeks? How would that feel?
Right.
It's the same concept. So we actually create programs in our minds through spaced repetition, which means every day. Spaced repetition. So the way that we create paradigms and programs, spaced repetition or a massive emotional impact. Don't wait for a massive emotional impact to pick up meditation. Don't wait.
Right.
Create it in part of the habit. So when you say a day in the life of Jan, I literally start waking up, and the first thing I do is I state my gratitude. I'm so grateful for all the gifts I've received in the past. I'm so grateful for all the gifts I'm about to receive. Because I want to start with gratitude, and the emotion of gratitude is so important. It literally is the gateway emotion to open up the doors for everything else. And there's a quote that I love. What if tomorrow you only had the things that you were grateful for today?
Awesome.
Right? Let that sink in. That should allow people to go through a list of things that they could be grateful for. So I state my gratitude, and then I do a meditation. And I started to incorporate this because this is very important. And then I get a glass of water, I take my vitamins, and then I started to incorporate yoga. So I do anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes of yoga. And my goal is to increase that, because every time I said I would do exercises, I would start off at 30, 45 minutes, and then it would only last for a week and I wouldn't do it again. So therefore, I'm taking my own medicine and I'm doing small increments. So I started with 7 minutes of yoga. Now I'm up to 12 minutes, and I'm going to continue it to expand and grow on it. But it is so true. Whether it's yoga, whether it's taking a walk, getting our bodies into motion and stretching the cells of our body. Then I listen to my Bob Proctor. I listen to a lesson, and then I read and I journal.
How long does that take?
So anywhere from 45 minutes to 2.5 hours. And I give myself permission. See, I was that girl back in the days. Anybody that may have known me in my past lives, I would hit the snooze button, run out and get everything done and start reacting to the world. So a lot of people listening might be able to be very familiarized with that we react to the world. We pick up our phone, we look at our calendar, we start thinking about what happened yesterday, what we need to do today, what's going to happen tomorrow, and now life has taken over us and we've become a servant of our mind.
Indeed.
And there's really only 2 ways we can live: reactionary or creation. See, react, create, same letters, spelled differently. And most of us have been programmed to react when we're really born to create. So just taking that pause in the morning helps us create the world and the day that we want to have. Oh, another thing that I think is important, and it shows up over time, day in, day out, intention. Set an intention. What type of day do you want to have? And be consistent with it. Because it is through the consistency that things show up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Today was going to be a special day. I knew it.
Yes. Absolutely.
And I too don't listen to the podcast, but I decided, I'm going to listen to it today. And I'm so glad I did, because the word permission came up. So many of these concepts came up.
Yes.
Yep.
Mary, I was going to veer another direction.
Go
Do you want
ahead.
to stay on
Yeah,
this?
no.
Real estate.
Oh, yes.
So, we started as Married to Real Estate. We're in the throes of possibly evolving to another, and I won't share the name right now because you know it, another kind of lifestyle, more lifestyle, because in our conversations.
Sort of what we do anyway.
Yeah.
Even though our intention is real estate, our name is real estate, it's just where it's taken us
Yes,
is,
yes.
Exactly where we're going to go. We're going to love it.
We're gonna hit Ashley up, if you don't mind, to more of us to another concept.
Yeah.
I love it.
And we just hired a VA to help promote our products. I haven't done much about it.
What was that? I'm sorry, Mary. What?
Start with an idea, right? The idea. Start with the idea. Know thyself.
It's all going to come, though.
It is all gonna come.
So tell us about real estate, Jan. You have a foundation of real estate in investing and
Yes.
flipping. And where has that taken you? You're still there.
I will say I will always, always love real estate. We started as an investor, as a passive investor, and truly and surely, even as a quote unquote passive, it's not truly passive until you actually just allow money to work for you. So we started with multifamilies, and we still do, so I'm still very involved in purchasing multifamilies, and we also do syndications. That's probably the only aspect of real estate that I'm involved in. And with that said, I want everybody to hear this loud and clear. Matt and I, we're investors of a lot of different things, and yet at the end of the day, real estate is my favorite. Real estate is my favorite because I believe that when we can invest into real estate and allow that passive income to come from real estate and then invest that into higher risks, right? Then you kind of like almost balance yourself as far as risk is concerned. And so regardless of what's happening, as long as you know that you're holding real estate over time, you're not going to care what happens to the market, and you're not going to allow your emotions to be controlled by what's happening with the outside world. Because even if they say that it's not a good time to buy multifamilies, I'm going to reject that statement. Because if you can actually cash flow in this market, it's a great, great time to purchase it. Yeah. If it can cash flow, because if you're going to hold it over time, it's going to grow in equity. It's going to grow in equity, and it's going to show up in the way that you believe it. Now, with that said, if you're going to start into real estate and live in fear of it and just constantly watch, you're going to attract evidence of it not doing well.
Right. You can't open the front door and expect to see the growth in the grass every day.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. But I absolutely love real estate. And one thing that I want to say to all the amazing agents out there is to really start understanding investment, because I'm a huge believer that the amazing real estate agents out there, the amazing realtors, are going to end up being more like consultations. They're going to be like one of the experts that people want to connect with to help them reach their goals, utilizing real estate as a vehicle on how to get there. I don't believe that the American dream is no longer owning a home, a white picket fence, 2 kids, and a dog. I believe that the new American dream, the 2.0 American dream, is time and financial freedom. Time and financial freedom to do what we want, when we want, how we want, with who we want. And we can really teach people how to leverage real estate to exactly do that.
God bless those.
Yeah.
Which generation is that? Gen Z?
I've lost track.
You have some of them in your family, I think.
I don't know what they are.
But that's really the impact of that generation on people like me, a boomer. A boomer is like how you describe your life in your family. Do this, be responsible, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Don't take any risks. Don't take any. And just, work hard. But that time, the value of time. We make jokes about that generation. Oh, I'm on the job 3 weeks. I want to take 3 months off and go to Nepal. Oh, you do?
And they're doing it.
And they're doing it.
And they're doing it. We have more millionaires being created in this time in history than ever before. Ever before. And they're actually showing up through young kids. So I want to empower your son to listen to this and tell him to give himself permission to do what it is that he's passionate about. Because there is a law about compensation. And the law of compensation states that we actually get paid, right, receive and attract money based on three things: the need for what we do, our ability to do it, and the difficulty it is to replace us. And when we give ourselves permission to do what it is that we love to do, and we just do it over and over again because it's something that we're passionate about, our ability to do it is beyond measures, right? We start creating value within ourselves that is irreplaceable. So the difficulty it is to replace us, it gets harder and harder, which means that their value goes up. Right. See, I'm a huge believer, the future generations and even now, again, what matters the most is who you are as a character, what you like to do. How does your brain function? Are you more systematic? Are you more, planned and organized? Are you more creative and you like to start things? Do you like to take a vision and incorporate it, or do you like tasks? And no matter how your brain works, it's absolutely perfect and it's needed.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's needed. It's finding the environment and giving yourself permission to say, hey, where can I use my skill sets that comes easy and naturally to me?
Right.
Easily and naturally. And yet we have been programmed that if we want to be successful, we should be working so hard at it.
Yeah.
And so people knock what comes easy and naturally and go and chase to create something that becomes more difficult and find themselves miserable.
Yep. I think that happened with my oldest son. He took a sales job, and I had said to him, you should go to law school. I saw him just doing that. And I knew it would be perfect for him and he would love it, but he was not there. He wanted, a sales job. That was what he thought he needed to do. And he was miserable every single day. Yeah. And now he's happy.
What is he
loving
doing?
it. He's in law school.
See? That's what.
On a free ride.
On a free ride.
You can't make this stuff
Whoa.
up. That's the laws of the universe and the way that it works.
Truly.
Mm-hmm. And can I share with you? So my mom said this to me when I got into real estate. It's so funny. You should have got into real estate a long time ago, because that's what I thought that you should have, done. And instead you went to door to door and all this other stuff, right? Again, the teacher comes when the student is ready. Your son actually had to go through the sales to realize more of what he did want.
He did. He did. I agree with you. And I think maybe it even made him a better candidate for law school because he didn't go right away.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And that's what I said to my mother. I said, thank you for seeing something in me. And yet that is the journey that I had to learn. And not for nothing, there were so many gifts along the way that I was able to pick up and attract and have that
like
I
your
otherwise,
husband.
yes, my husband, the relationship, speaking skills, so many things. And it developed me into the person that I am. And so my biggest thing is, no matter where, and this goes to all the listeners, no matter where you are in life right now, no matter what what your life looks like, good, bad, ugly, whatever you want to label it, just accept it. Be honest with yourself and accept it. And just really be the observer of your life and say, what do I want? What no longer serves me, and what do I really desire? And then find an environment that's going to empower you. I'm a huge believer in getting a coach. I am. Coaches, courses, because you cannot do it by yourself. There's a statement, you have to do it alone, but you can't do it by yourself. Mm-hmm. You have to make the decisions alone. You have to believe that you're worthy of it. You have to believe that you deserve it. And yet, life is not meant to be alone. And when you can find that coach, you can find that group, that course, the masterminds, whatever it is that's going to empower you, it literally starts feeling like Miracle Grow. And you start experiencing versions of yourself that you didn't even know that was inside of you. And then all of a sudden you start growing and growing and growing, and it creates a ripple effect. It starts to create a ripple effect of everyone around you and humanity.
Yep.
It's beautiful. Where I see this happening is in the morning call. So the morning call has evolved to kind of just maybe 20 people a day from all over the country. And a few realtors from our area and stuff like that, people that you know and probably have done business with. And yet it's fascinating. Just in a half-hour discussion about some reading selected by you, that we watch people grow and change. And so that morning call, even the people on Facebook observe it, right? That morning call becomes so empowering because that's a community where all of this is expressed and we give ourselves permission to think about it. The first step, to think about it and to be open to it. And wow, who would have thunk?
I know.
Who would have thunk from Keller Williams' Power Up?
I know.
You know that
Right, that you used to do in person with just a handful.
Yes.
exactly.
That's great. So we're close to the end of our episode today. We could talk for hours with you, Jan, and hopefully you will come back again and again and again. So what is one thing you'd like to leave our listeners with today?
There are no coincidences in life. There's no such thing as good luck or bad luck. It's all universal laws. And so if you happen to be listening to this, there is no coincidence that you fell upon this. And the words that I want you to hear to really, seep into the cells of your body is that you're worthy of the life that you desire. You are worthy of it. Give yourself permission to know that you deserve it, and to really give yourself permission to love on yourself, forgive others, forgive yourself of anything in the past. And I promise when you start that journey, you will start to actually be grateful for your past experiences. You will start to have gratitude because it actually created the person that you're becoming. And energetically on our planet, there's so many things shifting. So just be open to the ideas. And I want to say this too. The new age of illiteracy is not the inability to read or write. The new age of illiteracy is the inability to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And what that means is we don't even realize that sometimes what's really holding us back is the habits that we have. So the ability to understand that we have the power to choose and learn new habits that's going to support us and support us to where we're going. And then if we need to unlearn it again, it's okay. It's okay. You are not defined by any labels. You're not defined by any singular decision. You are defined by the way that you allow yourself to feel about you. And you are defined by knowing that this entire life is just a journey for you to express, to learn about who you are and what you are. So going back to that entire quote that I stated earlier, you can never get it wrong because you can never get it done. Just give yourself permission to make decisions that support you on where you want to go and what type of life you want to live, and then create some habits. That's where the discipline comes in and the need to take action, right? But if you can create a system around it and just start little bites, those little bites turn into big things and they end up becoming the miracle grows of your life. It really does.
So how do people find you? More information about what you're doing and your elevated human experience?
Yes, they can come to the website, elevatedhumanexperience.com. They can also find me on any socials under Rhee. I highly, highly recommend, Mary will attest to this, we have a group of people that are unconditional lovers. Like they just love and they're flourishing. And so I ask, just check it out. Just check it out. And the thing that I want to leave with, what would it cost you to not check it out?
Right.
What would it cost you to not know that there's a group of people that want to empower you to see your best version of you?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So just check it out and come join us. Join us on the entire journey.
Thank you so much. This is a wonderful, wonderful revisit.
Yeah,
Nice
reunion for me, for sure.
Yes.
So grateful. And I
Lovely.
can't wait to see the evolution.
Oh,
and
yes. Yeah, well, you'll
Yeah.
be here seeing it.
You will. You will. Thank you, Jan.
Thank you, Miss Yan.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary.
Mary, Mary, and Mary, so extraordinary. Well, now they're talking about houses, they're talking about home. They're married to real estate.